Hello, Swivelheads. This is Greg Allison with Swivelhead News, coming to you as Hollywood burns. Guys, what is cooking here? A city, LA. Strange thing is, this is really going after the homes of the rich and powerful in the Los Angeles area, primarily the Hollywood elite, it seems. We hear in reports that the hotels are full of millionaires. Hotels. Started in the Palisades area. And now it is going up into the Hollywood area itself. Some people say the Hollywood sign itself is at risk of burning. So, is this the wrath of God because of the debauchery of Hollywood? Or is it just the stupidity of the mayor, the governor, and the whole woke establishment in that area? I mean, this is a brush fire. Yeah, a brush fire. And when you have brush fires, when you have underbrush growth, they won't trim out their underbrush. They won't trim out their, oh, we don't want to take out all this growth because it's just not natural. Well, the natural thing is that stuff, especially when it gets dry, burns. You get a Santa Ana wind and a lot of dry brush, you're going to get a fire. And especially how they knew this was coming. And yet the mayor of Hollywood, where was she? She was out in, you guessed it, Italy. She was over in Africa, excuse me. She went to Africa to go to a ceremony there, and suddenly she comes rushing back. And Sky News encountered her and really grilled her, asking her, like, should she apologize for being gone, for the things she did, a wrath of God. It looks like a wrath of God. And there's other things that may be a hint to the wrath of God, or maybe it's just a cleaning of the house. Think about this. So, guys, what was the sign? What did it mean when on New Year's Eve there was simultaneously 4 lightning strikes, 4 on supposedly our nation's symbols? The Capitol building, the Washington Monument, the Empire State Building, and the One World Trade Center. Yeah, One World. All got hit simultaneously by lightning. Was that coincidental? Or was that a sign? Maybe that was a sign of out with the old and in with the new. I mean, we've had some miracles. Hey, new days. We've had some miracles occurring. I don't think it's space lasers. I mean, this fire was going to happen. Santa Ana winds, dry underbrush everywhere. Oh, yeah. And one of the things the Sky correspondents hit him with was like, Mayor, why was your fire hydrants empty? I kid you not. Why was the fire hydrants empty? There was no water in them. Why did she cut the budget for the firefighters by $23 million? And then again, the whole policy for how they were hiring. Yeah, how they were hiring people to run the fire departments. Well, it was totally DEI. So, Los Angeles Mayor, Karen Bass, she has a lot to answer for. A lot to answer for, Karen Bass. And when Sky News hit her with all these questions, she was just like silent. She couldn't say anything. Well, gee, what would she have to say? How could she account for this? She should have known this was coming. But, I've had this old analogy, go woke, go broke. Well, I guess it's a lot worse than that. So, guys, is it the wrath of God or just idiocy? Is it because we're in a idiocracy? Or have been? The movie Idiocracy, it wasn't a movie, it was a documentary. Apparently. Talking about the far future. Well, gosh, we seem to be in it. But things are looking better in some ways. But, getting off there you go. So think about it, guys. Here we are. Boeing can't keep their planes in the air. They can't return astronauts from the space station. And the firefighters can't fight fires. And what's our military going to be able to do with all this woke DEI stuff? Not probably what it could. You hire people on the basis of qualifications. Now, if you want people more qualified with a wider diversity, educate them that way. Educate with a wider diversity. The opportunity shouldn't be, a quality of outcome, or it should be a quality of opportunity, and that people get, all get, a chance to get an education, get a chance to prove themselves to excel. It shouldn't be that you just try to make, people need to be hired for qualifications. When you don't hire people for qualifications, airplanes fall out of the sky, windows blow out, spacecraft can't carry crew home, and Los Angeles burns. Well, Hollywood. I mean, guys, is this a sign? Is this a sign for God? What is it? I mean, we have some of the people being evacuated are like Hank. What's his name? Tom Hanks. Reese Witherspoon. A lot of your big name Hollywood characters are being evacuated. We got something like 130,000 people being evacuated, I guess, in the Hollywood area. We've got, apparently, we know of 5 fatalities. Now, that's sad. That's tragic. How many that are going to find when the smoke clears and the dust settles out? We have no idea. Probably a lot. Because a lot of these homes, they've not been able to check. This has been described as apocalyptic. But a lot of it is just because they did not collect water in the reservoirs. They just allowed it to run off out to the ocean. So fire hydrants are dry. The brush has been allowed to accumulate. Oh yeah, the fire department's budget was cut, and he hired DEI people to run it. Is this a prescription for disaster? Well, they got a disaster on their hands. We're sending our fighters down tonight. Hey, Sasquatch Moon, there you go. See, other states are joining and trying to help out. That's good. That's good. But, LA could have been able to get a better start on it if they had water in the hydrants, if they hadn't cut the budget of the firefighters, if they had, many things. If they'd hired people that were qualified instead of, by competency. Oh, well. That's what you get, guys. That's what you get. But, when you combine that with everything else going on there, but, this could be a sign that, the house is getting clean. Maybe it's time for a house cleaning, out with the old, in with the new. We got a new administration coming in. And a lot of things are going to change in America and in the world. I thought about calling this, I started to do the video and called it Make Greenland Great Again. That was going to be my video. But this Hollywood fire thing was just off the tops, off the charts. We got Colonel Cole in the house tonight. He was one of the first people in. Good to see you, Colonel Cole. Andy, Traveler. John Cole was one and two. Yeah, I had a false start. Yeah, she was in Ghana. That's right. She was in Ghana. There we go. So, Death Life says it did it on purpose. May have, but it would have happened anyway. I mean, all the ingredients that were there. You got fire, you got heat, oxygen, and fuel. Tons of fuel with the underbrush. Tons of sources of heat in the city. I mean, in a city where there's always sparks from automobiles, from glass bottles thrown out in the weeds, where you've got homeless fires, where you got people smoking, where you've got bad wiring in houses. There's just zillions of sources for arcs and sparks and fuel. Then you get fanning the flames of Santa Ana winds. It was bound to happen. A fire like that creates its own weather system. Oh yeah, you got fire nados. So, and what we're seeing across the country, guys, is cities with Democratic mayors suffer. Look how the woke policies have just trashed San Francisco, homeless people everywhere. You look up in Portland and Oregon, Seattle, drug users out in the middle of the day, standing asleep, it's gross. It's gross. Even in Alabama, if you look at Birmingham, which John Cole likes to call Bulletheim, and you look at Huntsville. Birmingham was the biggest city, had industry, had all kind of stuff, had all kinds of potential. But Democratic mayor, they go broke, they bust their budget, and now it's become a center for a crime, for murder, one of the top murder cities in the United States. That's why Colonel Cole likes to call it Bulletheim. So, but then you take that and combine it with, and look at the contrast. Huntsville, Alabama was the third largest city, but Huntsville, Alabama has a Republican mayor. Huntsville is growing in leaps and bounds. Just 2 years ago, it became the #1 city. It just leapfrogged over Birmingham, over Mobile, and has been growing. That place is exploding with growth. One of the reasons I left, just too many people was getting crowded in a hurry. So I wanted a far less crowded locale. Locals around here tell me this place is booming and growing. Yeah, it's because a few houses are going up here and there. It is nothing like Huntsville. I mean, Huntsville, like you turn around, they're adding cities everywhere. I mean, whole cities, whole blocks, whole neighborhoods, whole shopping center complexes. I mean, it's mind-boggling how that place is booming. I'd be gone for a month and go back and go, I don't recognize this. Where am I at? I'm on the wrong road. Oh, no, this is the right road. Golly gee, what happened here? Just growth. That shows you the difference between a Republican, where you got progress, and a Democratic mayor. I mean, look at what happened to Detroit. If you go back to the, 1945, Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed out by bombs, and Detroit was booming. Today, Nagasaki and Hiroshima are booming, and Detroit looks like it's been hit by a bomb. I mean, you could say that Democrats are worse than atom bombs. Pardon me, but it's there used to be a different kind of Democrat. There used to be different kinds of Republicans. Their parties have changed a lot, and there's still holdovers from the old ways in both parties. But by and large, this whole a state or a nation goes, the more broke they get. Venezuela, an oil-rich nation, is in abject poverty. You see it all over the world. You see it all over the world, guys. That's why I've been talking to Travis Walton. What about Travis Walton? Yeah, he lives in this area. What brought that up? I mentioned the UFO capital. Says, am I in the UFO capital? Well, there has been that alleged abduction of Travis Walton not far from me here. And he lives in Snowflake, Arizona, right downtown Snowflake. So I don't know, maybe I'll meet him here one day. I'm sure I will, because this is a very small town. You meet everybody. I probably bumped into him 3 or 4 times. Huge fire at the North Power Station at Fort Worth. Explosion. That sounds suspicious. Guys, you can expect terrorism is about to kick up. So we got Jesse Mills in the house. Isn't Texas fighting a fire right now? I don't know. There may be. They also got some crazy cold weather there. So I don't know. I was all prepped to do a video on Greenland and Canada and Panama Canal. Yeah, but this just kind of came in and kind of took the show. So maybe I need to do that in a separate video, because that's the whole topic. When you think about Steven Spielberg, couldn't happen to a better guy, right? Oh well, I shouldn't say that. There's all these Hollywood types. They are under A lot of challenge right now. Bama Rocket Man in the house. Hey, Slim! We got my buddy Slim here. That is, dare I tell your name, Slim? I know who you are. Old rocket buddy of mine from way back. So, yeah, he came to my house in Alabama and got the rocket motor test stand, which he built, basically. So, that girl, how you doing? Colorado Jan. Hey, Jesse. Hey, Colorado Jan, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So, 91-year-old record. Oh, yeah, he's talking about the crime rate in Bulletheim. Crime rate in Bulletheim. But Slim and Colonel Cole are both from the community there. They can tell you how the difference between having a Republican mayor in Huntsville and a Democrat mayor in Birmingham. There's just two cases in the same state. And you see this over and over and over and over. I mean, you know, guys, you can't make this stuff up. If California was doing so great, people wouldn't be fleeing it. And why are they not doing so great? Well, look at what they got for a governor. But there's some good news, guys. Well, you're welcome, Colorado Gent. There are some folks, if you want to give Greg a thumbs up. Yeah, thank you for giving a thumbs up. We need all we can. I had my Galactic Greg's channel demonetized. Done videos to get back into that channel. I've been so busy, I've just not been able to keep up with videos, so I chose to do most of my videos recently in the channel that got watched the most, which is Green Greg's, and I risked getting this one demonetized. But this is the one where I really should focus more on my political and news stuff, and maybe I'll return Green Greg's into a homesteading channel. But I got to get people over here from there. Most of the people subscribed to Green Greg's did it for the prepper content and the news. But this really needs to be the news channel here, Michelle. This needs to be the news channel, because this is Swivel Head News. So that's what we need to cover here. In any event, guys, what's happening is really interesting. It may be the hand of God. I'll ask you guys for a vote on that in a minute. See what y'all think about it. But it's a miracle of the highest order that Trump survived the attempts that were made against him. Especially that one bullet that clipped his ear. I mean, he just happened to turn his head at just the right moment that kept him from no longer being with us. Just precisely the right moment. I mean, the timing of that, the chances of that, the probability that of him surviving a round coming at him that fast, it was that well directed. It's off the charts that he's still here. We should thank our lucky stars, thank the greater creator who created all of everything you know, see, and have heard of, all that there is, this vast multiverse we live in. So, pardon me, guys. You know, I think it was meant to be. They have tried to foil him, stop him, every way they could. But he gets election certified. Now, guys, you better get ready for the Inauguration Day. Between now and then, all kind of heck can break loose. Especially on Inauguration Day. One of the strange things is that they have ordered a lot of medical response teams to D.C. for that time, and it's not been done before, apparently, according to some sources. What are they anticipating? Is there something planned? So, guys, we're not out of the woods yet. But let's see. What's this? Sam, if not for Hollywood anymore, bud, Hollywood is burnt. Just hell now. Yeah, it's definitely hell there now. Bro, what is Gandalf doing? We're trying to bring some sense to the table, guys. Ye shall not pass. to all the craziness. So Vegas couldn't make odds on that event. No. It's off the charts. And things are getting better. Trudeau, especially for my buddies up in Canada like Arnold Smith, Trudeau is going to go. He has resigned. He's still in office until I guess the next prime minister gets elected. But, we're seeing some major shakeups in the world. I think a lot of the governments, are going away from the House of Klaus. That one, that the One World Trade Center was hit at the same time as the Empire State Building, the Capitol Building, and the Washington Monument. That was maybe a big sign. Maybe that's somebody from up above was knocking on our door and trying to tell us something. What do y'all think? So the Trump effect. So, guys, let me ask you this. If you think that it's the wrath of God in LA, I don't know. You tell me. Do you think it's the wrath of God? If you think it's not, vote a 1. If you think it is, vote a 2. I'd like to see what you guys think about what's happening. I don't know. You tell me. What do y'all think? So Alpha Survival says no. Brian and Sam say 2. Redneck Prepper doesn't think it is. New Days doesn't think it's the wrath of God. So we got some mixed opinions here. Sasquatch Moon doesn't think it's the wrath of God. Annette thinks it is. Psychological Op, says Matt. Colorado Jan thinks it's the wrath of God. Tell me. Michelle thinks it's the wrath of God. Now, if you think that just the brokenness of wokeness was a driving factor in this, put a 4 in here. If you didn't think it had nothing to do with it, vote a 3. Let's see what you guys think about that. How much did wokeness contribute to this space laser? I don't think it's space lasers. A lot of people think that the woke culture had a lot to do with this. Yep, I think that's highly suspicious. God's will be done whether we believe it or not. There you go, Arnold. Doesn't matter what we think, what we believe in the end, does it? Taking all the money and leaving big brown spot. Well, there seems to be a program for this. So, all right, here's what troubles me. Biden was on his way to get some big blessing from the Pope. Yes, because he had pardoned all these people that should, was on death row. So many of them, except there was some, he says he's against the death penalty, but he did reserve it to leave a few people on there interested. If either you're for it or you're against it. So this just shows the political hypocrisy of his whole approach to everything, right? So, Greg, what is your opinion about how the Georgia Guidestones looked? Not much investigation. We can talk about that in a little bit. Girl, that's a good question. So, I was trying to get to a point here. I'm losing my train of thought. Haven't heard what sparked the fire, but with 4 fires, could have been Rochelle, could have been. But like I said, there's plenty of fire sources in the city, plenty of arcs and spark sources and dry fuel and the high wind. It was bound to happen. But then again, there might have been something sparking it. Could have been. But, I don't think the woke would attack themselves. Especially their center power. See, Hollywood was the real push. They were on TV constantly, like Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel, constantly attacking conservatives, constantly building up the woke case, constantly, endlessly promoting the leftist agenda. So here, hey Jesse, yeah, maybe it does sound a lot like Hawaii. So extremely low humidity, that's a biggie in fire calls. You got extremely low humidity, the risk of fire just goes up dramatically. Static discharge could have set it off. Like walking across a carpet. So power stations, arcing and sparking at transformers, tons and tons and tons, automobiles, backfiring, tons of potential sources. So here's what I was going to go for. Biden was over there to get the blessings of the Pope, but he turned tail and came back here before he got it. Why? Because of the fires in Hollywood. He had to show his support, right? Well, how come he didn't go to North Carolina? Why is it the people in North Carolina where the hurricane hit, who are living in tents, are facing freezing weather right now? What's been done for them? They're facing being frozen to death with freezing weather coming in, living in tents on the side of mountains, ill provisioned, and Biden makes this all big, got to run straight to Hollywood. Why? Because that's been his source of support. Monetarily, in terms of promotion, So what does that tell us? Isn't that strange? Work on your cardio. So what does that tell us? That Biden was in all heck bent to get to Hollywood, but the poor folks in the Carolinas, East Tennessee, forget you. What does that tell you? They love the left coast, all the rest of us in what they call flower country. You have to be a democratic state. Well, there's that. Alpha Omega Survival says there are some interesting videos on the next Red Radar North there right before they started. Well, what's on the radars there? Alpha Omega Survival Supply. Anyway, we got Aussies in the house tonight, like Rodney. That's good to know. We got Canadians in the house. So, some message held for review. Biden is in Geopolitical. Biden is in. I don't know. I'll show that. Come on. Somebody did something to it. Rex. Oh yeah, so the people in North Carolina have a deeper connection to the Christian community. Well, that's true than California. Yeah, in Hollywood, you think? Yeah, so the administration just don't care so much for that. And if y'all think the government is here for you, think again. It's supposed to be. But maybe we can get that set right again with new incoming administration. Because people stood up and what they voted for, and they voted, hey, we got a super chat. John Taylor, $5. ML. Greg, keep up the good work. Might that be good enough for at least one cup of coffee? Well, salute to you. Thank you, John Taylor. I'm most appreciative. Thank you for the super chat. The first super chat on Swivelhead News this year. John Taylor, you did it. Thank you, sir. There's a town called Taylor right south of Snowflake in this area, in case y'all didn't know. Joe Coggins, and many more trusting in Big Daddy figure. Yeah, exactly. See, the big government's tried to supplant God. They want to be your God. They want to be everything to you. That's why China's. That's why China's so against religion. And they really like that. So, Slim Biden had the Pentagon lead an emergency response. Wow. All about responding to Hollywood, right? And I'm not saying they shouldn't, but why didn't you get this kind of attention in the Carolinas? Why did Biden not drop everything and run to the Carolinas after what hit them, because that area didn't support him, right? Copper and ice. So let's see. I am sent me, God bless. Old timer, utmost respect to our elders. You talking about me? So, guys, I don't know. There's something really interesting. I really want to talk about Greenland, but I'd like to do it in a video that's got "Make Greenland Great Again" in the title. So there's some interesting stuff coming down the pike, guys. Interesting stuff. We're living. This next year is going to be. It's either going to be horrific because these people want to take America's population down, or it's going to be terrific. So is it going to be terrific or horrific? Hard to say. But I remember the prophet Kim Clements. He said Trump would get elected twice, and a lot of people thought he missed it on this last election. Or some didn't quite think so. But he also said we'd have two presidents. Have we, over the last 4 years, do we really have two presidents? But he also prophesied that Trump would change things dramatically. He really couldn't his first term. He was so tied down. But at least for 2 years, there's a Republican Senate and House and a favorable Supreme Court, and Trump is president. These next 2 years, he needs to do as much as he possibly can to drain the swamp. And it could be that God is pulling the plug on the swamp himself. Maybe the lightning, maybe the survival of that bullet, maybe these fires, maybe they're all just signs. I don't know. Chewy Weather. How you doing, Chewy Weather? Obama's had his third term. Yeah, he did. Pineapple is an abomination. What? A pineapple's an abomination? Just need a pine nor an apple. Excuse me. But it is a tangy fruit. John Taylor Gregg, I'm going to email you a phone number to a friend of mine that is pretty close to you. It has a lot of skill to help you out if you need. Okay, well, thank you. Molecular frictional radiation. Hey, April, how you doing? Pineapple is a blessing. So we're having a pineapple debate now. That I didn't expect. Pineapple is radioactive. Well, bananas are radioactive. Potassium in a banana is actually radioactive. They keep it up in the volcanoes. Hey, Tim, how you doing? All right, so I have some pineapple express going on in my closet. So what we got here? Jill Coggins, I admit I enjoy pineapple on pizza. Yeah, me too. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Not the canned stuff, huh? Yeah, the canned stuff's kind of nasty. What'd you miss, Saffron Bay? Well, it's this whole question about what's going on in the fires in Hollywood. The fact that the mayor has been attacked by a lot of people, including there's been an actor or two that spoke out against this, and there's been against the mayor and the governor. See, they let all that undergrowth grow. This fire is a brush fire. These fires are brush fires, and you don't have brush fires without brush, and brush is the uncontrolled growth which they seem to favor. Alpha Omega swallow supply. Let's see. Okay. And the unholy sign burnt yet. Unholy wood. It's getting. Last I saw was 10 miles within that 10 miles from the sign. They can get there in a flash, literally. Our Super Supreme pizzas down here have pineapple. Oh yeah, I love pineapple on a pizza. So Rodney, how you doing? So you can do that down under. DHS opened a terrorism case on LA. That's telling you there may be more to it than met the eye. Pineapple's good for rheumatoid arthritis. That's good to know, H. Lammers. All right, Slim, I read that the issue they are having as much of the fire equipment that was sent to Ukraine. Ooh. Well, the mayor cut the budget for the firefighters by $23 million. Where'd that money go? The hiring practices for the fire department have been DEI. They did not save water in the reservoirs. They just let it all run out to the ocean. Fire hydrants subsequently are dry. Dry fire hydrants, dry underbrush that's dried out and turned to tinder, and low humidity, Santa Ana winds which fuel the flames with oxygen. Yeah, what could go wrong? And the whole time, who's in Africa and Ghana? The mayor of LA. Why would a mayor of LA go to a city like that? I mean, go to another country for the swearing in their leaders or whatever they're doing over there. Why not pump open ocean water into the fight the fires? Well, it's a long way to go pumping, I guess. Well, LA's right there. Good question. Probably the salt water really gum everything up. Salt water's nasty. Really nasty. Wind was too strong to get water. Oh, the wind was too strong to go get water? Well, the reservoirs are dry. The fire hydrants were dry. The fire department's budget was cut. It's all it's a recipe, perfect recipe for a disaster, for a catastrophe. And people there are saying it's biblical. A biblical scale. I mean, it's horrifying to people to see those kind of fires. Fire is a scary thing. It's a rough way to go if you get burnt. Nobody wants that. It's a very rough way to go. Could mess up the equipment. Disaster waiting to happen. Oh yeah, it was primed, cocked and loaded. Not able to fly. Saltwater sulfur dioxide. Yeah, but there's some new desalination techniques that's being developed right now. Oh, guys, have you heard that one of the Biden administration's new executive orders is to ban those little just-in-time propane-fired water heaters? All in the name of saving the environment. Well, if you're only heating water when you need it, and low amounts instead of flowing lots of water and applying a lot of heat, is that not more environmentally friendly than less? They just don't make walking around sense over there. Wind's too strong for flying. Oh, yeah. I once was in an Army C-12 aircraft trying to land at Fort Greely. And we had a 40-mile-an-hour crosswind. I guess the runway is what they were saying. We were coming down, and that airplane coming in would do this, and it would do this. I mean, you'd be flying, you're coming in for a landing. 1 minute, your right wing is straight down. The next minute, the left wing is, straight down. It was like the whole airplane would go this way and then go this way. It's like, I wonder what's going to hit the tarmac first, wings or tires? Is it going to be wings or rubber? I was really, really, really wondering about it. Somehow that pilot set that plane down on the wheels. We rolled to stop, and the airfield was shut down immediately. Well, we were probably didn't have no fuel going anywhere else. And that's when I was returning from the Alaska Soldier of the Year competition. I actually I made Fort Greely Soldier of the Year, and I tied for second place for State Soldier of the Year in 1981. Which the guy who I tied with was a staff sergeant, and it shouldn't have been a staff sergeant in that competition to start with. It's supposed to be for, below sergeant. And so I was kind of angry with him. He let staff sergeant. The girl who won it was working for the JAG, and he let her off. The JAG had let that girl off for like 2 months to study for this thing. And the prize was a free trip to Hawaii, from Alaska to Hawaii. I came real close to going to Hawaii on 2 different occasions. That was one of them. And, that really wasn't fair. But I bet he went with her. Highly suspicious, highly suspicious. Winds are nasty around Fort Greely. Yes, very much. Fort Greely is one of those places where, and we get a lot of wind here. A lot of wind. It's really windy here at times. It was windy as all get out last night, but it's nothing compared to Fort Greely. Fort Greely has had hurricane force winds every month since the meteorological team was up there in 1947. We're talking straight line winds of 70 miles an hour, at least, with wind gusts of 100. I've seen human tumbleweeds. Some of them are adults. I mean, just people just rolled over by the wind. The roads are covered with ice, so you could literally stand on a road, point your feet in the same direction, and open your parka, and the wind would push you across the road. You would be sailing. Yes, sailing with just your parka and your boots on. Yeah, we wore boots with all the stuff on the bottom, the tracks, the tread. It didn't make no difference on the ice. It would all slip and slide. Everything slipped and slid on the ice. So, unless you had studded tires, and those slipped and slid on the ice too, especially black ice, they would all slip and slide. It was an amazing experience up there, like going to another planet. Chinook winds, yeah, Chinook winds were the warmer winds from the south, but we got winds out of the Elizabeth Pass at Fort Greely, and those came in cold. They weren't the warmer Chinook winds, and they would, it literally screamed. It was loud, screaming winds. It was like nothing I'd ever seen. Hurricane force winds every month. So it's like you got to be in a hurricane every month without the wave, of course. Thank God, no tidal surge up there. Anyway, if there were any 15-minute city type plans for LA, that's interesting proposition there. Southern men make the best soldiers. Well, thank you, Matt. Well, think about all the bases that were named after Southern generals who had their names changed. Like Fort Bragg. I'll never call them anything but Fort Bragg. Some of them, Fort Rucker. A lot of these, they changed Fort Benning. They changed the names of all these bases. Fort Lee. Trump says he's going to change them back. So, human drones. Well, yeah, I've seen people just, like I said, bowled over. The funniest thing was, how they scrape the parking lots, the ice out of the parking lots for cars to park, the ice and snow. And it winds up in piles, on the edge of the parking lot. So I was walking to work one day, because you could walk to work. On Fort Greely, it's a small place, faster than you could warm up a vehicle up to get it to move. And I hopped over this pile of snow, ice, whatever, the Hardened got slick. It was ice. And when my foot hit the other side, I started falling backwards. And I threw my arms out just to kind of catch myself, because I thought I was going to hit the ground. The wind picked me up, righted me up, and I just kept right on walking. I was literally falling back. I must have been almost a 45-degree angle, and the wind just picked me up. And I just kept walking. I said, man, people in Alabama ain't going to believe this. Amazing stuff, guys. Audie Murphy, for example. There you go. So, Well, Southerners made a disproportionate number, for the population of the United States. Southerners were used to be disproportionately uh, participating in the military, mainly because we probably were poor. So I went in the military for the benefits of insurance so that I could afford for my son to be born, because I didn't have insurance on my wife at the time, medical insurance. And that was a big part of me going in the military. Plus I joined for this educational benefits. I didn't get the GI Bill. We had a program called VEEP. I had to put money into it. There's an account I put money in, but for every dollar I put in, the government would put in $2. And I was supposed to get a whopping $225 a month back to go to college on. $225 a month. Now, when I went in the Army in 1979, at 19-year-old, that didn't sound too bad. It wasn't great, but it didn't sound too bad. But then Peanut Man, Jimmy Carter's double-digit inflation hit. It just wiped that out. It was like nothing. When I got to college, $225, even in the, early 80s, that was mighty paltry. When I got to the Army in the 80s, that was some paltry money. It was tough. So, Matt, let's see. Traveler, nothing surprises me anymore. If you have seen sci-fi movie, then you know what's next. Yeah, we're living basically in a sci-fi movie. It's like maybe several sci-fi scripts, all grade B movies, all rolled into one. Greg, you look like 7 years older than me. Well, I am 64. How's that? I'm 64 years old. At some point, not too distant future this year, I'll be 65. Just a few days after New Days has her birthday. About 2 days different. New Days is 2 days older than me, guys. We're really close age-wise. 57. Okay, Rodney. Redneck Prepper, I'm 64. There you go. Well, we got my demographic is most of my viewers are pretty much around my age. I did have I got to go back to my email. I saw an email from Black Forest, the Black Forest Supplement Company. They got some really good stuff. I mean, they got top-notch stuff. I need to go back and see if I can hope I hadn't missed the opportunity to connect with them and be an affiliate for them, because I really want to buy what they got. The NMN, I want that stuff. I need it because it really fights for a lot of people. It's one of these anti-aging supplements that has great reviews among lots of people. So I think maybe my viewers could use that stuff. I know I can. I'm definitely wanting to get in on that. So I'll see what I can do for that. They're expensive. Yeah, all that stuff is. Or is there better, cheaper sources for the same stuff that's good? I don't know. Black Scout Survival. I think Black Scout is into that. I think he uses that same outfit. Yes, I need a fountain of youth. Yeah, me too. I've been attacked by a cat right now. So, wild mountain lion kitty. Something. Boomer Boost and Gladiator Barley with the NMN. That's something I really want. And taurine, I want some more of that. So, yeah, I used to go to a vitamin shop in Huntsville, but I don't know if there's good vitamin shops anymore. Maybe Shello's got one. Yeah, Smokey's over here sitting down there kind of messing with me a little bit. So, I don't know what you guys think about it, but this whole thing with the mayor of LA, the governor of California, they really have not done justice to the people there. The Prime Minister of Canada, Castro Trudeau, he is on the go now, fortunately. So Canada's got something to look forward to there. So, we got a lot of Canadians in here. Let me turn on the light on here. So, guys, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that Uh, you know, Trump is one of these guys. He throws a lot of stuff out there just to give him leverage for negotiations. He's got some point to negotiate something with Canada, something about Greenland, and definitely Panama. So my Canadian buddies, I want y'all to answer. If you're from Canada, if you'd like to see Canada become part of the United States, put a 6 in the chat room. If not, put a 5. I'd like to see what my Canadian buddies think about that. Anyway, let's see. Let's turn this around. Let's check this attack cat out. Let's see what that turn around. He is getting feisty on me here. Yeah, he wants to play. Whoa! He's a feisty one today. He gets a bit feisty. Hey, you're a star, kitty. Turn around. You're a star. Do you know that? Crazy cat, yeah. Crazy cat indeed. Whoa. Pet cat. So he'll let me pet him. Oh, goodness. He's feisty tonight. Do you remember us? Cat taking over the channel. He's getting too much attention, is he? Alright. Nobody wants to see Canada become a state. Let's turn this video around. Look at him. He wants to play. Play with me, Daddy. Anyway, don't see no 6s. Nobody wants to see Canada become a state. Well, there's a 6. America should fix its own problems first, then decide to venture to what well, we don't want to do what the Russians are doing. I think everyone should have the right of self-determination. If you want to be in a different country for an area or group does, they should have the right to vote for it. You know. Slim says, Melanie says that she likes the kitty. It's a good companion for Gandalf. Alright, Slim, you may tell her about who you are? Let's see. Roscoe the rat killer. Well, that's what his job's going to be, is rats. Well, we got mice around here. Pack rats and mice. Does that mean we can cross the border asking for a friend? Well, you're up close to it. So's New Days. Both of you are close to the border. Alright, let's, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's see. Oh, where's he at? Oh, I thought I turned it around. Oh, what biting his own tail. Oh, that's funny. Biting his own tail. Chasing his tail. Cat, you're hilarious. You're crazy. Totally funny. Totally funny. So, hey, what are you doing? 20 miles from the border? Okay. That is pretty close. Lordy, lordy. Alright, we've been going 54 minutes. So, I don't know. I don't know if there's any hope for California. 2 miles from the border. Out New Days is right on the border. 2 miles from Canada. Canada. That cat biting his tail again. Holy smoke. Cat, you that bored? You that bored? I'll poach to attack here. Well, come on. Yeah, you're just too cute to be so mean, Lord Almighty. How can you be so cute and be so mean all at once? Or so feisty. I don't really mean just feisty. Feisty, feisty. Alrighty, guys. So, these days is always crossing the border, bringing in moonshine from Canada. Uh-oh. Is that what it is these days? Is that 1 or 2 miles from the Canadian border? They are consolidating the country. I find this very disturbing. Slim, tell us about that UAP sitting near Snowflake, and is it ours? I did see some UAP flying over Snowflake. I missed that, so new days. That's funny. Land grabbing. It may be J Money. So there was a I love your kitty. Okay, Darlene. Yeah, it's going to be getting down to 11 here in a couple of nights. I've seen 9 out here. So guys, I'm in my van right now. The house is really close. It's getting closer and closer every day, almost every day. So I should be in it for too long. Greg flies a saucer and Snowflake. That's about it. So I did get reports from 2 people citing a UAP going over Snowflake, right over Snowflake, according to a couple sources. And I myself, about the same time, saw something flying from the north to the south in a straight line over Snowflake from where I'm at. And that, could have been a drone. They reported as a drone. What was it? Why would you have drones out here? And some people say all the drones are out sniffing around for nuclear stuff. And yeah, maybe there are some that were doing that. Some people say, well, there's no drones anymore. There's just no reports of it. The news media has decided to move on to other stuff. But there are still reports, people saying they're seeing stuff, maybe not as much. So maybe they accomplished a big part of whatever mission they had. But I don't think it's just one source. I think there's probably a couple, 2 or 3 sources of what's going on there. Some of them look kind of like airplanes. Some of them look like drones. And then there was orbs. What were they? Even the ones that look like drones didn't behave like a drone should. Now, the head of the Department of Homeland Insecurity, Mirokas, he said, oh, people are just going to the gas station and buying these things and flying them. Drones the size of a car from a gas station? You gotta be kidding me. But the thing that really stood out is that some sheriff's departments and police departments decided to investigate these, and they put up their own drones to try to pursue the drones, and they lost power. They fell out of the sky. It's been reported that they would alter the clocks on cars they flew over, or even take power away from the vehicle momentarily. The vehicle would just lose power. Now, what attributes of something that needs to have a surveillance mission to do detection, why would they need those kind of attributes? Drones that, are on surveillance are special purpose drones. The real problem, hey Judy, the real problem with these spray don't work. There you go. So, Greg, Jesse Mill says there are also aircraft experimental that fly. Oh, yeah. Between Edwards and White Sands, they go through it. That could be. And it could have been an aircraft. Absolutely could have been. I cannot ascertain. It was some distance from me, flying low over the horizon. I could not, from my distance, ascertain what it was. I just thought it was strange. At 3 o'clock in the morning, you'd have this aircraft, which was not a passenger jet or a cargo jet, flying so low at that odd hour. That's what struck me odd about it. And the people in Snowflake said it was a drone, these 2 individuals. And I wasn't close enough to tell, but I saw it. So ball lightning from a weakened magnetic field of Earth. Now, ball lightning is interesting phenomenology. It's a plasma. And yet it sustains itself a lot longer than it should for physics, you know. So what is it about a toroidal ball of energy like that? I think there's a lot to be looked in, because that also has a lot of the phenomenology of that's associated with these orbs. So we've talked about that a little bit in the last video. I think TR3B, says Matt. Some of them are a little edged just like the TR3B. We've been seeing that kind of stuff's been seen by a lot of people, and I do think that is ours, for better or worse. Greg, why is Trump interested in Greenland? Well, I want to do a whole video on that. It's a strategic location. It's in the Arctic. It's, you know, we have a base at Thule. We put bases. We used to have a lot of bases in the Arctic. We had a part of our due line looking for Russian nukes coming at us up there. We shut a lot of that stuff down because, well, we're all in peace and love with Russia, and now things are a bit more tense. So Greenland's a strategic point of interest for us. Yes, it is for the U.S. It's also kind of the gateway to the Arctic Ocean, either passing east, or anybody wants to pass into the Arctic east of North America is going to go around Greenland, either to the east or west. So, you think the TR3B is a balloon? No, I don't think so. It moves too fast. I'm all snowed in. Oh, Judy, how much snow do you have there, Judy? Yeah, a lot of snow hit in the Midwest, and the next round is coming to the southeast. I'm hearing reports of like 6 to 8 inches are predicted in the Huntsville area. What do you know about that? Colonel Cole, are you still in the house? Slim, what are you hearing? So, Slim is taking the name Slim because I used to call him Slim Pickens. Yeah, what Slim Pickens was famous for, riding the bomb out of the B-52. Along with Blazing Saddles, right? So, Northwest Passage, there you go. So, there's also alleged that there's suspected there may be a lot of trace minerals there, and China has been really eyeing Greenland. China made a deal to build airports for Greenland, but the United States got alarmed by it and went to Denmark and says, don't let all this happen. So Denmark kind of footed the bill for it. China had a mine, was buying into a mine in the very northern tip of Greenland, and that was also America basically got the company that was going to sell out to the Chinese to go with an American interest instead. America put a lot of money into that. My roof has Tommy knockers, creaking sounds. Oh, wow. How much snow you got on your roof? Hopefully it holds up, Judy. You don't want to be in a house if the roof collapses. Someone took Tim Pickens, so Slim was... all right, folks. Slim is Tim Pickens. So he let me say it. All right. Tim Pickens and I were collaborated in the Halo program. Altitude liftoff. Halo. I got a rocket from a balloon and off we go. Tim Pickens is a rocket man. He can build a rocket from a garbage can. Halo. I got a rocket from a balloon and off we go. Literally, he took an ashtray and used it as the form for making a rocket nozzle, and that worked great. And our original oxidizer tanks were fire extinguishers, our original ones. Later we built carbon fiber wound tanks. We used pretty high technology stuff, but our first ones were made from fire extinguishers. We used fire extinguishers to make fire. That's right. Halo, altitude liftoff. And then we spun off a company called HARC, High Altitude Research Corporation. So we had some crazy, wild adventures. There's a lead mine in the heart. High Arctic. That's now operated by ZPA Yeah, I can't even pronounce ZP. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Man, folks. Is it Tim, the guy who makes the rocket bike? Yes. He's our rocket bike buddy. He does make rocket bikes. So I'm still going with anti-gravity tech from the bell of the TRB-3. Well, there may be some of that, but I kind of figured most of the TRB-3B propulsion was ion wind, Biffle-Brown effect. So I think that had a lot to do with it. But the problem is you had to have Panda Land, folks. Oh, I just saw this. You got to have a good power source to run that, though, to put in the high voltage. But those things are kind of like a big, well, somebody said balloon. Dirigible, maybe, or airship. Yeah, it's got characteristics of an airship with a ion wind drive system. So ion wind is what put a lot of lifters up. Jetpacks and rocket cars and trucks, yes. Still alive and building. Yeah, you survived all of that. And yeah, you still owe me a ride in your rocket truck, Tim. He definitely has a rocket truck motor. Nuclear reactor. It could be Jason. They may have some special lightweight. You need a lightweight tech for an aircraft. So it'll be interesting to see what they're really doing. Is it cold fusion? So again, I highly suggest you guys check out Ashton Forbes talking about the plasma orbs. Interesting stuff. Slim, oh boy. A ride in the rocket truck itself. Yeah, you owe me a ride. Or let me fire it and drive it. Also a rocket bike ride. Alrighty. Do you believe the Russians could have made a nuclear-powered cruise missile? Yeah, it's called the Skyfall, or the Petrel, by their own name. They've had some hard luck with that thing, but they've been working on it. A nuclear-powered missile, cruise missile. See, we started to do a program like that back in the late 50s, and some people refer to it as a flying crowbar. Deal. All right. When I get back to Bammer, I'm gonna have to ride the rocket. That'll be a good video for Galactic Gregs. I did some video with Tim that I've been planning to post on Galactic Gregs. I just hadn't had time to edit. I have been so busy trying to move and get stuff out of Alabama and get this tiny home set up. And I'm right now, I don't have my computer set up right to do the kind of video productions I'd like to do. I'm just operating right now off of a cell phone, and that's about all I've been able to do lately. So my video capabilities are a little bit suffering. Hopefully I can get things set up. I'll start doing interviews again. That girl, let's see, do rods from God exist? The technology exists. Are they in place? I don't know. We need to do high voltage experiments live at my lab. Amen, Tim. I'm all in for it. I'm in for it. So there will be some good Galactic Greg video stuff. Guys, check out my video channel, Galactic Gregs, and check out the videos where Amy Eskridge was talking to the Huntsville, Alabama L5 Society. That's an organization I founded back in 1983 with Conrad Klaus Dannenberg. So, scary ball lightning. Yeah, it's kind of scary, but the phenomenology of how it sustains itself and keeps going for as long as it does is interesting. It's tapping into something, my friends. There is other energy source out there in space itself. Space is not, the vacuum of space is full of energy. And atomic particles never wear out. The electrons wear out, the neutrons wear out, the protons wear out. How do they have all this charge and keep moving so, for millions and millions, billions of years and not wear out? Because they're tapping into the fabric of space-time itself. Guys, you warp space-time when you flip a light switch. Because you flip a light switch and the current moves through there, the electric current, and it sets up a magnetic field revolving around it. Even in your head, when you're thinking, the electricity firing between your neurons also sets up magnetic fields. You got to warp, you got a time warp inside your head. Let's do the time warp again. That was a weird movie. That's strange stuff. But anyway, funny song though. Wonder how much damage a rod from God could do. I don't think it's as much as what they say. Because I did calculate just dropping it at 70,000 miles an hour. And I wouldn't say it's nuclear. It's more like 4 V2s. About like 4 tons of TNT. I think 4 to 7 tons is what I calculated. But if you came in from the moon, it would be a lot more. You could use a mass driver from the moon and basically machine gun fire these things out. One after another, after another, after another. That's why we can't afford for the Chinese to build a base on the moon and us not have one too. Because if they were up there by themselves and on the moon, they could own everything on planet Earth. Planet Earth would have no choice. And I'm planning to do a video just on that. Some people have only 1 neuron left. It's probably a good thing. If they had 2 to rub together, it'd really be dangerous. The moon is the high ground. It is the high ground, absolutely. High-tech coyote slingshot from the moon. Basically, yeah. Basically, a Venus colony. Yeah, I did a video on colonizing Venus, guys. I need to check it out. I'm saying it makes more sense to colonize Venus than Mars. So y'all need to look at my Galactic Greg's videos. Check them out. The Venus colony was one of the things I presented. Because I did a design for one. Anyway. It's getting kind of chilly in there, even with my heater going. There's like a couple of marsh rabbits. Of course, Venus, that's right. Blown drones. Oh, blown domes, okay, yeah. Pluckhead Trudeau has lost his neuron. He only had one that's gone. Well, I guess it's one. Well, that puts him in the same league with President Taterhead, right? Titan would make the most sense. Well, it's so cold on Titan. Titan is cold. Some of those ice moons are so cold, they're crazy cold. I mean, hundreds of degrees below zero. If you landed on them, how do you have the foot pads of your spacecraft chilled down enough that it don't just burn a hole straight through wherever you land at, and you just bury, you just keep sinking? Or be your foot pads would skitter around as they've made the surface beneath them flash into steam, kind of like spitting on a hot oven. When I was a kid, we had a coal-fired stove in our kitchen, and I used to love to spit on it, watch that spit skitter around on the top. It'd make that kind of sound, just skittering. And my mama would not be happy when I do that. She would yell at me if I spit, but I thought it was the most entertaining thing in the world. I'd laugh. I spit on that thing, watch that spit go, before the liquid touched the surface of the hot stove, it vaporized and it made the little balls hop around, and they made that sound, and I thought that was hilarious. I just loved it when I was a little kid. I loved that and playing with magnets. So that was my beginning. It was my introduction to physics. They need some special forces on the moon to stop the Reds. There you go. Minus 278 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's cold. How do you land on that? How do you possibly land on that? How do you even penetrate that atmosphere without having crazy effects? Now, I was impressed with the Russians that landed the Venera probe on Venus. On the surface of Venus, it is hotter than a soldering iron. You can melt lead on the surface of Venus. That's 2 times as hot as a soldering iron. It's like 800 degrees Fahrenheit. It's extreme. Like you could have rivers of molten lead, and yet that probe landed and transmitted for a few minutes before it burned up and got crushed. The pressures of moon wars. There you go. All right, deep function 100,000 minus 1. Got some red there. Is that a red birthday cake, or what is that red symbol? I can't tell. Moonraker 007. That's fun. You know, what I liked about the 007 sets was, you know, they'd always be out in the middle of nowhere. You'd have a hard time getting this place out in the middle of nowhere, and suddenly you'd come in this big high-tech center. It was like a rocket motor test stand up in Gurley that Tim built at his dad's place, the late great Herman Pickens. Yeah, you could drive. There was this one mountain road approach I like coming in better. Dirt road. You come up over a hill and around through the woods, and you come down there, and we had a rocket motor test stand, fully instrumented. Anti-gravity is achievable with high temperature and it's the voltages, the frequencies, and things that you got to play with there. Marsh rabbits. Magnets are interesting. The thing that doesn't fit is the thing that is most interesting. Richard P. Feynman. There you go. We landed a probe on Titan. We sent one down, you know, through the atmosphere. Yeah, the Huygens probe, I believe was the name of it, with the Cassini mission. Cassini was the orbiter that went around. No. Yeah, Cassini went around. I get the piece of what we send to Jupiter and what we send to Saturn. Yeah, Cassini went around Saturn, and the probe that went into Titan was called Huygens, named after astronomers. Russian upside down cloud cities from Venus colony. Yeah, see my video on this. Now mine were to be spherical because they're going to be super pressure devices, kind of like super pressure balloons that Aerostar builds. Except they were going to be rigid structure, geodesic, Buckminster Fuller type structures. Because once you get a certain volume contained, you're extremely buoyant if the atmosphere inside is less dense than what's on the outside. In Venus, the atmosphere being primarily carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide has a much higher density than the air on Earth. So you could actually hermetically seal a house that would float at about 50 miles high on Venus, in the atmosphere of Venus, and it would be right at the place where it's like Earth normal temperatures and Earth normal atmospheric pressure. Only problem is you do have acids in the atmosphere, so you'd have to wear some kind of plastic acid suit, not a pressure suit, just a suit so the acid wouldn't get to you. Maybe some little goggles. But yeah, Venus could be a real fun place. Really could. Crashed Cassini into Saturn. Well, it dived into the atmosphere, you know. And you dive really deep in the atmosphere to find anything solid on Saturn. Because it's mostly the atmosphere. It's a gas giant. And so is Jupiter and Uranus, Neptune, whatever you want to call it. They're all gas giant planets. Corium. That's like the core of a nuclear reactor. When a nuclear reactor melts down, they call it corium, the molten uranium. So corium says, think they will actually can do something with thorium long term. You know, one of my friends who's a nuclear engineer and scientist, PhD guy, he does not think thorium is a good bargain because he says you got to basically form it in a particle accelerator. You got to put so much energy into getting everything set up that you use in the reactor. He said it didn't make any sense. But it seems there's a lot of people chasing it, so I'm not so sure about his pronouncement on that. You might want to consider, thank you for sharing that link, New Days. You might want to consider, well, I don't know. Thorium's interesting. It's interesting. It might work out. But it does take a lot of energy apparently to get the fuel for prep. I'm being attacked here again by our kitty cat. That goes. I guess I have a high energy thing. I get shocked a lot They come into contact with everyday things. Well, maybe you're just an energetic lady. That girl wearing a watch years ago. Okay, keep correct time. You may have your calcium in your bones may be magnetized. That can happen if you get too much current applied. But that also may mess up your bone marrow, and a lot of people that deal with a lot of high currents have been more susceptible to leukemia. Crazy pressure for metallic hydrogen to even exist. Yeah, a lot of pressure on that. So, yeah, folks, let's see. We've been going 120, and Carlson talks about a free energy plasma generator. Well, the rotating toroidal electric fields have some very interesting effects. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. All right, folks, I think we're going to call it a night here. We've been going for an hour and 21 minutes. I do want to probably come back on here and just talk about Greenland, talk about Panama Canal, Canada, and more things along those lines. Because it didn't want to make for any. That's what I was going to do originally tonight. But this whole thing with the Hollywood fires just seemed to be off the charts, so I needed to talk about that. Holly weird. And it's getting kind of chilly in here. And I do need some more coffee before I go to sleep to help me go to sleep. Anyway, guys, let's see here. I don't drink beer. Coffee, yeah. Warzone. Oh, yeah, there's a Warzone YouTube channel, which is really good to watch, guys. Warzone 24/7. That's the Greeks put that channel out there. And I have used it in my videos in the past. How would a human demagnetize? I don't know that you can demagnetize bones. I don't think you can. You might could if you applied electric fields to it, counter to how the domains are lined up. You could. Magnetic fields might do it. Well, thank you, Michelle Young. She showed how to contribute to me that way. And usually when she does that, it usually means she's done the same. So she's supported my channel a lot. So I'm going to say salute to Michelle for sharing that. And for the many times she's given to me, and I assume probably tonight. I can't check it unless I use my phone. So I'll check that later. So, yep, 2 weeks ago it was the drone story. What's next? Well, fires. And then there's the inauguration. Lord knows what's coming, guys. That's why you need to be ready. You need to be prepared. Because the stuff coming at us is off the charts. I would say get you some long-term food storage just in case. And some water filtration. And for long-term food storage, check prepwithgreg.com. That's my affiliate link for my Patriot Supply. And guys, it's going to be planting season before you know it. If the power grid goes down, you're not going to be ordering stuff off the web. So for right now, take advantage of True Leaf Market and Eden Brothers, where you can get seeds to plant your own food. You really need to be growing your own. So check out my affiliate links to that I post on a lot of my channels and a lot of my videos. There you go, New Days. Thank you for posting that with my Patriot Supply. And Cat is here checking me out. Kitty Cat is rambunctious tonight. Charcoal to purify. Yeah, you want activated charcoal. Now, I did a video over on Green Greg's talking about many ways to purify and sanitize water, and those are two separate things. So check out that video over on Green Greg's channel. And thank you, New Days, for sharing the True Leaf Market links. So you really, really, really need to get you some non-GMO heirloom seeds. So, guys, we have a lot of tension in the world today. Yeah, so anything could happen at this moment. Well, not anything, but the bad things that could happen to us are just way too many. So get ready. Keep your eyes wide open, head on a swivel, but don't be scared. Be prepared. Alrighty, folks. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank all you super chatters. At $5 here tonight, I'm sure that Michelle and maybe somebody else is winning to the site that Michelle gave the link for. And I just want to thank, again, Super Chatters, I want to thank you mods, and I want to thank everybody for watching. And with that, I want to say, everyone have a great night. To one and all, a good night and a good day wherever you are. And your father died from leukemia and was heart issues. Oh, that's sad. Wow. Don't forget. Thank you, Jesse, for asking for thumbs up. Jesse's a near neighbor right here. He's in the area, and we have had the opportunity to visit. So once again, thank you, one and all. So to one and all, have a good night, good day, and Greg out. Ho, ho, ho. Greg out.